Hey there, real quick before we begin, you're about to watch a live stream, which means you're really kind of behind the scenes here because these lessons are usually watched in the archives, but you're here for the live taping of them. So if we mess up really bad, we're probably going to chop that out, but you're going to get to see all of our bloopers and mistakes. We'll also chop this off so no one is going to see this part of the lesson but you. And because you're behind the scenes, you're probably going to ignore my instructions when I say, like, pause the video and go practice or whatever. You can if you want. It's just that everyone in the chat room then will be in different places in the video. That's fine. When you want to join us live again, go down to the bottom of the video, click on the live button, and that should take you straight to where we actually are now. So now here comes the part for everybody else. I'm really glad you're with us. The archives are fine, but my favorite is talking to you live. So see you in the chat room. Welcome back to KidsLearnPianoLive.com. My name is Jamin, and as you can tell from the countdown clock here, the lesson is about to begin. If this is your first time playing piano, welcome. I'm very excited for you. You're going to do great. Hopefully you already received from us the welcome packet in the mail, and maybe you even got started on the Absolute Beginners video pack to teach you the names of the notes and things like that. But if not, that's fine. You'll do great. I'll show you how to play all the notes. And if I'm going too fast for you, you can always pause the video or rewind it and go over the more difficult parts. You can always pause the video or rewind it and go over the more difficult parts. And even if you only learn a little bit of this song and you don't learn the whole thing, you'll still learn enough to help you build skills so you can learn other songs faster in the future. So jump in, give it a try. You're bound to end up at least a little bit better than you even are right now. Throughout the lesson, I may refer to Joplin Academy, and you can check out that link on the website if you want. Basically, it's a program that takes you all the way from learning the names of the notes, the very beginning, through 12 levels of classical and jazz music, through all the skills that you would need to become a professional pianist. So you would learn all the same stuff that you would learn if you're taking regular traditional piano lessons, probably plus a little bit more, but it takes about 5 to 10 years to complete. So you can just try out the first level, see if it's the kind of thing that you like, or if you just care about today's lesson and learning this song, then just ignore all those references and focus on today's lesson. If you're watching this at LearnPianoLive.com, there should be a PDF and an MP3 button right next to this video. The MP3 is a play-along track that you can use to practice more after the lesson, but a lot of students like to print out the PDF right now so they have it during the lesson. Careful, it could be up to like 30 pages, so just find the couple pages that you want and print those out. If you decide not to, that's fine. I'll show you all of the notes on screen as we go through it. And we will be going through 5 different levels of this song that all use the same play-along track. So even if you've never played piano before, you'll still be able to do level 1. And then as we go through level 2, 3, 4, and 5, then when we use that same play-along track, you just keep playing your same version. If you're watching this lesson in the archives and you have a question during the lesson, then feel free to click on that survey button. And at the end of the survey, there's a place for you to ask your question, and I will do my best to get back to you with the answer to that question. But if you're with us live as we're recording this today, then feel free to click on that chat button, and you can talk with all the other students who are logged in during the live lesson. And if you have a question about the lesson, then you can just go ahead and type that into the box that says, Ask Jamin a Question, and we will do our best to answer that question live in the lesson. All right, I think that's the end of the boring stuff. I'm ready to learn a song. Stay tuned at the end of the lesson and I'll show you how to win more points and earn more prizes next week. But for right now, let's get this party started. Welcome back to KidsLearnPianoLive.com. My name is Jamin, and this is the incomparable Kendra.
Guess what? I have something to admit. So I only seen Lion King like once, I think, when I was very little.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very scared when, I mean, if you haven't seen it, I won't spoil it.
It's terrifying.
It's terrifying. And so ever since then, I've like refused to watch it. But
Yeah.
I'm 17 now.
Yeah.
think it's time.
Yeah, the real life one is like surprisingly not even as traumatic, I thought,
Really?
as the cartoon one.
I haven't seen either one of them.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if it's real. I don't know if you call it real life or not, because none of it's real. It's all computer generated. But I guess they're both. I don't know. Whatever. It's pretty sad.
They're very real.
The movie's like 25 years old or something. Like,
that's crazy.
You're allowed to give spoilers at 25 years.
You think?
His dad dies.
Yeah, that was the part that made me sad.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, happy Father's Day.
Clawful.
Well, we have a lot to do today because this is one of the songs where we like actually include all of the parts. So we're going to try to learn all the notes that we possibly can, which means we don't have a lot of time for other stuff, but it's kind of like learning 2 songs in one. So if at the end of this lesson you can't play the whole song, that's fine. That's normal. If at the end of the lesson you can't even play the first half of it, that's fine, because the first half of it would be like a whole entire song. So the goal here is that you walk away with like, you know how to practice the thing, even if you can't play it yet, or play it with a track. We probably won't even play it with a track just because there's a ton of notes. But we do need a C to start out with. So in order to play a C, we're just going to find any group of 2 black notes, like those ones, or those ones, or those ones, any of those. We're just going to take the lower note of the 2, the one that's on the left, and we're going to drag it down just a little bit, and we would land on a C. So that's a C right there. And if we just go like through the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, that would be the first 3 notes of our song. So that one, and then that one, and then that one. Those are the first 3 notes of the song. And we would say out loud, as we always do with all of our songs, in the jung, because those are the words there for in the jung. There we go. So then after that, we would play a D and an E again, but without the C this time. So first we played a C and then a D and an E. Now we're going to play C and D and E, but without the C. So we just play D, E, and say gul, the. So all together, that would be, go ahead and try that with me. Get ready on that C there. It would be in the jung, gul, the. And if you have that much, then we're ready to go on to the next note, which is 1 over from there. And that's an F, and we're going to say might. And mighty, the word mighty, even though it's just one word, it has 2 notes on it. So we're going to, on the second half of the note of the word, we're going to play an E. So this is a whole lot of stuff already. If you can't play this yet, that's perfectly fine. But we start on the C. Go ahead and get back to your C with me. We're going to try this. In the jung, gul, the mighty, and then back down to D and C. So like from this F to the C, it pretty much goes straight down. So F, E, D, C would be mighty jungle. We're really, really close to the end of this first section here. So mighty jungle, then we'd go up to an E and a D, and then a D and a C. So we're going back and forth, kind of like up and down on this thing. So we want to look for those right hand patterns as much as possible. You can tell already probably that these 3 notes are really important to the song. Let's try it. Let me show you how you'd play this. And of course, if you're watching this in the archives, you get to pause and practice wherever you need to. If you're live with me, then just pay attention to which directions I'm going, and probably you'd want to come back and play this later. Jump into the archives later so you can play along with me here. So this is me and future you playing right now. Just get all the notes that you can. Don't worry about the rest. But it would start on C and it would go in the jung, gul, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps. We just have 2 notes left. And that's an E and a D. So this is like one of the first times, it is the first time in the song where we've had to jump over a note. So going from this C to this E, we're gonna have to jump over D. So we're gonna go straight to that note, the E, and then the D. And that all together would sound like this. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. Now, if you want to, you can just play that exact same thing over right here and just say the same exact words, actually. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps too. That's perfectly fine to do that. If you want to, you can switch out a lot of the C's for G's, and it's kind of the same line, but it's going to start with a G, which we haven't played yet. Let's count up to a G. So we start out on a C, and if we go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, that one right there, that's the note that we want for in the jung. And of course, always saying all the words as you go, right there. In the jungle. The is back to that G. So it's kind of like just these 3 notes down and then up. In the jungle, the. And this is where you want to like look for the patterns in the notes and stuff when you're playing the right hand melodies. As much as you can notice patterns in there, it's going to help out a whole lot. Then we're going to go straight down like we did before. F, E, D, C. We did that right there. In fact, the whole rest of this is exactly the same note for note as this is up here. So the only part that changes is this chunk right in here at the beginning. So mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight is the exact same as we had before. So let's try all of that all together, starting on that first note. Get the notes that you can. Don't worry about the rest. Let's play it. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. And then the one that starts on the G. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. Now, normally that's where we would end and we'd move on to level 2 and all that stuff, and Klappa would be like, hey, it's time to move on. But I want to show you real quick, the fun part of the song is the part that has no sensible words to it. It goes, bump away. So, for that, we need a G and then we need a G. We need those 2 Gs to not be the same G. So, hang on, time out, real quick. If on that last section you're like, wait, hang on, I can't even play that yet, don't move on yet, that's fine. Just keep practicing your thing, your chunk of it. But if you want to know the second part of it, you can come back to this in the archives. We're going to play a low G and then a high G. So in order to find a G, you can do what we did before, C, D, E, F, G. Or you can just take any group of 3 black notes, take the middle one and drag it a little bit down, and you land on a G every time. And that's kind of how I find the Gs, is by the black notes. So I'd go from this one right here all the way up to this one. And we would say, we. And then you're gonna play G, and then F, and then G, and then F. And then this is probably the tricky part right here, going from this D to this E. We. Right there. That's gonna be the tricky part. So after the G, F, D, E, and then on that low G that we had before, 4 of those. Bum, bum, away. And then do the exact same thing again. So honestly, if I were you, I would just cross out all of those notes right there, because it's going to be the exact same thing that you already played right there. So you're just going to play that section twice, but they're all written out for you in order. So again, that would be a wee, a wee, bum, bum, away. And then you repeat all of that. So let's try the whole thing all together. Okay, last time through. Here we go. Ready? Get all the notes that you can. Don't worry about the rest. You can always come back in the archives and catch the rest later. Let's go. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. And then up to that G. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. Now a low G and a high G. A wee, a wee, bum, bum, away. And then we do that same thing one more time. A wee, a wee, bum, bum, away. And then you could go back and play it all again, and then they just repeat the different words, but the same notes over and over and over. But that's like 2 songs in one. So if you don't have all of that, that's perfectly fine. Maybe you want to take a break and work on the weekly activity. Kendra, tell us what this week is.
This week is the Grand Staff spelling. And if you write the names of the notes, they all spell words. Find the words and tag Learn Piano Live when you post a picture on Facebook or Instagram. And our mascot penguin will hook you up with 150 bonus points. Won't you, Clawful?
Yeah, and that's kind of an advanced game. So if you want a less advanced game, maybe you want to play higher or lower with us. Yeah, so here's how this game works. I'm going to play a note, and then I'm going to play a second note, and you're going to tell me if the second note is higher or lower than the first one that I played. So you can watch for the first one here. So if I played this one, again, these notes are high, and these notes down here are low. So I'm going to play a note, and then I'm going to play the second note, and you have to listen and tell me, is the second note higher or lower than the first one? So if I did like this, the second note was higher than the first note because I went up to get to it. Or if we did this. The first note down to the second note. The second note was lower, so we would say lower. But this is going to be trickier than that because I'm not going to let you see any of the keys. So you just have to do this by listening, and you're going to try to play against Kendra and see if you can get more than her. We're going to try 3 of these. Here we go. So this is our first note. I'm going to play up here. There you go, so you can't see. So this note right here, that's my first note. So I want to know the second note. Is that higher or lower than the first note? Again. Is the second note higher or lower than the first one? And Kendra, what do you think?
Lower?
It is lower, yeah, good job.
Okay,
So it went
cool.
from that note all the way down to that one. Yeah, good. What about this? So is the second note higher or lower than the first one? Guessing at home, trying to beat Kendra. But she's pretty good at this stuff. Is the second one higher or lower than the first one?
I think it's higher.
It is higher indeed. Nice job. Here's our last one. This is going to be the trickiest one of all of them. Ready? Okay. From here to there. Do you have to go higher or lower? One more time. What do you think?
Lower?
It was lower. I went from a higher note to a lower note. So kind of hard to see those because like a lot of the stuff we do here, it's kind of a secret.
Secret information.
All right, today's secret information is that first thing you need to know, this is not information that everybody needs. This is just stuff that like the advanced players would want to know. These things right here can get kind of frustrating. These are called ties right here. Ties are frustrating because they make it harder to count and to play and stuff. But it might help you to know that ties almost always show up in the middle or at the end of a measure. So almost always, if you have a tie right here, the second note in a tie is beat 3, which is important if you're doing like Classical Academy level 3 or higher and you're trying to like sight read a bunch of these things. Just knowing that there's a tie here that almost always indicates that this second note right here is going to happen on beat 3. That's kind of the point of ties. So if it's not that, then it would be like tied over right here, and then the second note would be beat 1. So I don't know if that made any sense to you, but if you're trying to sight read a bunch of stuff and you have a bunch of ties, they're actually really helpful because you can just see where the tie is and the second note, bam, beat 3. Or in this case of this one right here, having that tie right there means that this one is on beat 1. So that's kind of a cool thing about ties. They almost always happen on beat 3 or into beat 1. The second thing that you would want to know is that when you're figuring out your fingering, see, we do this thing on our charts here where we like try to give you like the fingering that you should use and stuff. Okay, so here's the thing. All we ever do on that is we just decide, we try to figure out what's the highest note of the song and what's the lowest note of the song, and then we give you a fingering that would include all of those. So you could figure out your own fingerings for all the songs from here until forever if you just try to figure out, okay, what's the highest note of the song? In this case, it was that a wee. You just put your pinky right there and go 1 finger per note. And that's the fingering that we would suggest that you use for that. So you just use the outside fingers for the outside notes. The highest note would be your right pinky. The lowest note would be your left hand pinky if you need that. And then you just put the rest of the fingers down in place. And that's the correct fingering for all of the songs that we do. And the third thing that you want to do is, we've already talked about the right hand patterns and trying to find right hand patterns and how helpful that is. Left hand usually has even more patterns. So if you're doing like level 3 stuff, again, this isn't information for everybody. This is kind of secret information. But if you're doing left-hand stuff like level 3 or 4 or whatever, then you also want to look for the patterns there. You just have to look at a much larger section because on the right-hand patterns, you're usually looking at like 2 or 3 notes and saying, do these 2 or 3 notes ever show up anywhere else? But on the left hand, you want to look at large patterns like this right here. You might notice that CF, CG, that shows up again here, CF, CG, CF, CG. And you have this in almost every song where the left hand is just going to take a pattern over like 3 or 4 measures and it's going to repeat that pattern over and over. So don't just look in the right hand for the patterns, but you can look in the left hand too. That's all of our secret information, which means it's time for our raffle. I hope you won. Okay, congratulations to Dasvani. I don't know why your name didn't show up. You just had so many points. You were off the chart. Dasvani, you were the winner. Let us know what prize it is you want. Let's level up.
Transitioning to Level 2. This may be confusing to Level 1 students, so please continue to practice the Level 1 version, or visit learnpianolive.com/level2 for a detailed explanation on how to level up.
So sadly, the lesson preview has come to an end, and it's time to say goodbye to everyone watching the free streams. Of course, paying subscribers at learnpianolive.com can continue watching this lesson and several hundred others like it in the archives. So come on over and check us out. And if you like what you saw, at least like and subscribe, and then tell your friends to head on over to learnpianolive.com to start enjoying this journey with us.